Hello, this is Tom and Chris. We're those film guys, and welcome to the fourth instalment of our Bat Marathon, where we review the animated movie Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. And this was a film that was in the same continuity as the animated show, and, well, like the animated show, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. And I think it's much better. It's the Batman film I wanted from the start. Why didn't they release this first? And it is the Batman film I wanted.
It's a shame this couldn't have been the live action version.
You're right there, because I really do think that this is the first film to get Batman, to make Batman a character, and which I don't think he was at all in the Tim Burton's two films.
And for the most part, get it 100% right as well, because they cover a lot of areas for the character in this film.
Yeah, I like a lot. But the thing is, it wasn't... Warner Brothers kind of gave this a raw deal. For how good it was, I would have expected it to get, some more box office take-ins, but apparently it was advertised poorly.
Yeah, it was a box office bomb. It was a combination of bad advertising, and it was originally going to be a direct-to-video film, but 8 months before it was to be released, they said, "Oh, we're going to make it a theatrical release." So you've got 8 months to up the look of it and everything. So it was a really strenuous schedule for the filmmakers. So it was a combination of that and the bad advertising, because it was only 8 months until it was released, which is a shame really, because it didn't make its budget back. But I know that it's had a good life on DVD and more people are watching it now.
Yeah, and I'm really that's disappointing really, because it didn't do that well, and it should have done, because and I think another problem was the Christmas Day release.
Yeah. Like
who's really going to go to see a film on Christmas Day? But then again, Sherlock Holmes was released Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or near Christmas time, and that did well. So I don't know. I kind of think it was more Warner Brothers not advertising it properly, because nobody really saw it. But like you said, it's having a good life on DVD and stuff. So, what where do we start? The introduction.
Oh my god.
The theme music. I think it's much, much better.
It does seem a lot grander and more triumphant and dark, and really sets the tone for the film that's going to, come after.
And the whole, it's paralleled with this nice sort of 3D fly through the Gotham City, which for 90s special effects it was quite good, and for animated special effects it's really good. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think it matches the art style quite well that the actual film has, and I know it's computer generated, but it still looks great, and it has a good atmosphere to it, which is, complemented by the music. And that intro theme, just wow. When that kicks in, it gets you right there when you watch the animated series. And
yeah, I kind of think that the art style isn't particularly that different from the show. And of course they had to up it up, but they already had that art style in place, so it was easy for them to do. And it's not vastly different from the show. and it's just still got the same feel, the same tone. It's not as silly. I mean, it's essentially a kids' film with adult themes in it.
I think it deals with the mature themes in it really well, considering, and arguably, it's more mature than some of the live action films.
Well, it's more. I think it's more mature than, Batman Returns, because that was silly, over the top, and had a bit in there involving children, which I didn't like, and it didn't deal with it very well. And I think the tone it sets, the themes it sets, it feels very real and natural, and it feels like Batman is a character now. He is a fledged character. I mean, the story is that he's that it centers around him, and it brings in a love interest in Andrea Beaumont, and it's about Bruce Wayne and Batman trying to. Well, it's about. It's to deal with his. He's having to come to terms with his past, and basically, there's a new villain in town with a Phantasm, who's killing all the crime bosses, and due to the elemental and dark appearance of the Phantasm, many of the criminals think it's Batman. So it's Batman having to clear his name and also come to terms with his past love interest, and we get these flashbacks to his past, which explains his origins. And it sets up this very good sort of character dynamic and character arc where Bruce is at. There's this one really good scene in it which I love, where he goes to his parents' grave, and he says, and it's raining and there's lightning and thunder and stuff like that, but he says this is when he wants to. He is in love with Andrea, and he's looking for a way out of his life, out of Batman, and he feels that because he wants his parents to feel that he's kept his promise long enough, and he wants to get out. But that scene works really well, because it appears as though the Wayne parents don't think he's kept his promise, or his promise has been fulfilled, because of the lightning and stuff. It almost looks as though they're sort of watching him there, and it's very much about him trying to find a way out, and him sort of coming to terms with the promise he made to his parents. And there's a line in it where he says, "I didn't count on being happy." Yeah. So he's very much sort of coming to grips with that, and does he want to be Batman when he's in love? It raises that question, and it runs with it. I think it's fantastically done, that love story. It is like Batman and Batman Returns had love interests, but they weren't developed. This is a developed love interest. This is a woman who's basically she is perplexed by revenge, and she wants revenge for the death of her father.
And she mirrors the persona of Bruce Wayne Batman almost identically, but she takes on the more extremist, drastic approach that Bruce has kept away from and veered away from. And Alfred says at the end, brings this point up in the Batcave, that every day you go out, I keep thinking you'll, turn into a criminal, but you haven't, and I thank God for that.
Yeah, that's a very, very good, touching scene as well, because I think Alfred sees that Andrea sort of became too. She sort of was too engulfed in revenge and vengeance that she didn't that she didn't know anything else. Whereas Bruce creates Batman to sort of stop criminals that could breed the type that killed his parents, and to sort of take some sort of revenge on them, but doesn't go to extreme lengths.
It ties the story in well, because obviously it brings in another villain towards the end, and it meshes the characters into this really tight knot, and that's what I really like about it. There is no wasted character in this film. All the characters' backstory and motives all tie in together, and I think that's what makes the film so strong as a Batman film.
Yeah, and the second villain is the Joker, and the Joker. Yeah. You think when you see you think the Joker might just be in it because they needed the Joker was popular, but compared to Tim Burton's Batman, which is the case for the Joker, he was popular, so they put him in. He's actually to do with Andrea's backstory, and it's to do with her character. She's taken out all the mob bosses that sort of influenced the killing of her father, and Joker was the assassin working for the mob who actually did the job, did the deed, and he's an integral part of her character arc. And one thing I would like to bring up is that at the end there's a big confrontation, and she disappears with the Joker at the end.
Yeah.
What does she do with the Joker?
She obviously didn't kill him, because he came back for the next few series of the animated series. I don't know. I quite like that they keep it ambiguous. It does leave it open ended, especially because she has a scene that follows when she's on the boat at the end.
Yeah, that's probably the one moment that sort of took me out of it, because I would have liked a more ambiguous ending than that, where she, instead of having her on a boat, like having Bruce finds a locket in the Batcave, which is the same locket Andrea had, where with her picture in it with Bruce, and that sort of indicates that she's still alive. Should have. I feel that this is what one of the minor problems with it. That's the ending. That should have been where that should have been where it ended.
It's a cool exit for the Joker out of the film, but I think if you were going for the more tightly closed ending, I would have probably ended it where Batman's trying to talk her down to not kill the Joker and to not give in to vengeance, and maybe she just knocks him out and throws him over to Batman to put back in Arkham, and then she disappears. That she's listened to Batman and she hasn't given in to her anger, as it were, and killed another character.
Yeah, but I think it is a very, very good parallel between what Batman could become at any moment, because that, again, going back to that scene with Alfred, and what he says, that is the one extreme that Batman could go to. You think that he could go there at any point when he goes outside as Batman, but I think Batman, or Bruce Wayne, has that vengeance under control. He doesn't feel as though he wants to stop the criminals, but I don't think he feels that revenge is the right solution to it. And it's a very complex film for being like a kid's sort of action movie.
Yeah.
And I really think it works. It really works.